And you know what, kind of leads me on to actually the next situation, actually, where it is today's theme, because I know that obviously everyone's in a different situation, whether you're university, doing masters, or doing apprenticeships or work and so forth. But I actually want to talk to you guys about the kind of the theme of possibility and what we can work towards in the future, what if you finish school, or so forth, take it from there. But I know that all of you at university, so we'll get to in a minute actually, but have any of you actually done apprenticeships anywhere as well in the past? Or yeah, Diamond.
I did an apprenticeship before I went to uni.
Oh, did you?
Um, yeah, because I was really I weighed out things. To be honest, I got really discouraged around A level time. I think maybe I've just been in education too long. I'm not sure what the the issue was, but there was a slow demise in my zeal for education. And I had been formerly been a student who said I want to go to Cambridge, and then all of a sudden my grades weren't meeting it, and yeah, so I just said, you know what, I'm totally anti-university, not interested. I'm gonna go and work. And my dad was like, "Excuse me, what?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna work." And he was like, "No, you're not." I said, "Watch me," kind of thing. And so I literally hustled to find an apprenticeship because obviously I'd been so academically focused that I hadn't really developed any skills or interested in any other areas. So, you know, finding an apprenticeship randomly was a bit difficult. I won't lie, but I managed to get one. I did it in business admin, and it really brought me out my shell. I feel like I personally think that apprenticeship should be put so much more, and I feel like they should actually allocate or assign everyone to do an apprenticeship, well, at least a year or a year and 6 months. Like it should be incorporated somehow because it opened me up so much. I learned how to finally spend. Made some massive errors with finances. I won't lie. But obviously we live and we learn. And I learned how to accommodate things. So now a lot of things in life are not as difficult to juggle because I really got pushed in the deep end. I had to juggle three different worlds: my social life, my extracurricular things, work, or four actually, and the actual apprenticeship work. And the placement I was in was not even trying to accommodate the fact that I was also getting assignments. So I had to juggle both very effectively. And I feel like it just, I don't want to say this term in a loose way, but it kind of told me to man up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of
And kind of
course.
just take it on the chin and just gave me a bit of muscle. Let's put it like that. And yeah, developed resilience and just taught me a mass load. And I was able to move out in that year. And like so many things opened. I got my first phone contract. I just learned about so many different things in just that year alone. And so I feel like a lot of people should capitalize on apprenticeship opportunity just so they're prepared for life.
Mm.
I don't feel like like now, obviously, I'm a bit older now, and I work with 16 to 18-year-olds. So when I look at a 16-year-old or 17-year-old who's coming to me and saying this, I don't know what to do in university. I look at them and I'm like, damn right, you don't know what to do because we're all too young. Like, you get me? What, like you're 18, you've just come out of full-time education, and now you're expected to make a life decision. Like that will impact you for life.
Yeah.
It's a bit tough. Do you see what I mean? So yeah, I can understand. So I really feel like if they were able to kind of put apprenticeships in at that 18 or 17-year-old point, fantastic. It just gives you direction and just opens you up to say, okay, this is the skill set I actually have. You know, I'm gonna go to work. You know, when they ask you, tell us a bit about yourself, they're stumped saying, oh, I like blue, I like football. You know, but you actually now have a skill palette to say, oh, you know what? I'm actually good at this. I'm bad at this. I need development in this area. And I'm such an advocate for apprenticeships. I will promote it any day, from being honest.
Honestly, that is incredible because I know that not everyone kind of knows about apprenticeships, do they? And for me, I very similar to you. I never did an apprenticeship, but after college, I went straight into the working world. And for me personally, not for everyone, obviously, but for me personally, I learned on the job, being thrown in the deep end. So I put me in a job and I'll learn that way. Because for me personally, I found school really difficult because of my dyspraxia. As much as I love learning, I'm obsessed with reading and listening to podcasts and learning. I found school really difficult, but put me in the working world, but I'm thrown in the deep end and I'll come out thriving, swimming to the top with the sharks. And for those that might be interested in that kind of field where they've gone from, say, school straight into an apprenticeship, for you, you said you research, but for for those that don't quite know how to maybe get into the apprenticeship world, how did you get into that apprenticeship world? Did you just research and apply, or was there a kind of course you had to take?
So
How did you do it?
yeah, there was a lot of research because back then, obviously, I'm not even old, but back then there wasn't that much. There really wasn't that much knowledge about it, and to be honest, apprenticeships were really shunned for whatever reason. And so there was a lot of research looking into the different levels of apprenticeships. You know, what level is accommodating now that I've finished A levels? Because I'm not going to go and do level 3 course and then go to do a level 2. It just doesn't make sense. So I had to research the course levels, research the industry I wanted to do it in, and research the company. Because unfortunately, some companies have catapulted on the aspects of apprenticeships and just use it as a means for cheap labor, which is not really fair. But hey ho, the world is the world. What can we really do? So it's the best prospect is also to research the company you're going to be working for. Are they actually going to facilitate your learning? Are they making it a priority to ensure that you're also learning the skills you need for the job and for your qualification, and not just using you as cheap labor? And so there were all of these things, and I had to learn it as I went along. So maybe I would apply for this and realize, oh my gosh, maybe I'm overqualified for this, or go into this area and realize, oh, actually, this is too vigorous, or maybe I don't want to do a 2-year apprenticeship. Maybe I just want to do a year and 6 months instead. So all of these prospects had to be looked at. One thing I'm very grateful for though is if people join like 18 plus schemes, or I don't know what they're called, but there's a lot of them that have been launched now, and I was fortunate enough to get contacted by a team that work with alumni after the challenge, which is the NCS program now, and they contacted me, and that's actually the apprenticeship I went for. But a lot of charities and different programs are working with 16 to 18-year-olds to specifically support them after A levels. So they have a lot of opportunities as well. But most of the time, I just tell people to research. You really never know what you even like. You actually don't even know what job you would like, or what experience you'd like, or what qualification you would like until you research and find out what's out there. So that's the main thing that I did. And because of the lack of awareness, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get as much support from my school as would have been expected. But it's all good and proper, because at the end of the day, it wasn't really common knowledge out there. Neither was it really encouraged. So I'm not really bothered in that respect. But now there's so many resources. The Gov website helps as well. Rate My Apprenticeship is there as well. So many online resources to help and support. The last thing I will say though is that anyone who's looking to go in an apprenticeship should try and get a mentor or someone to support them in the applications, purely because it is a massive. It is being thrown in the deep end. The most I've done is fill out my name on an exam paper and my candidate number. Now you're being asked for employment history and your GCSEs, and where have you lived for the last residency, and describe yourself and what attributes do you have. It's incredibly overwhelming, and so I think that everybody should get somebody that can support them through those questions and stuff like that, so that they're not overwhelmed or confused. My school does push on students still doing filling out the UCAS form just to prepare them for those kind of vigorous forms. And obviously some students are like, I'm not going to uni, so I'm not doing it. But then when they find that form, they see how vigorous the Tesco form is, or how vigorous whatever company they're trying to, then they realize, oh, maybe I should have done it. So, I mean, I think that's my fair share in regards to that. But research, but definitely get someone who's either done it or is in a position of academic support to be able to facilitate the actual application.
That is amazing. And you literally answered pretty much all my questions as well about everything you learned, how to get there as well. Honestly, you covered so many things. And I really want to carry on with this, actually. We just have to run out of one more time. So I'm about to stop recording right now and carry on with part 3 in a second. So see you guys in a second. Going back to you, Diamond, actually, as well. What do you reckon, since you briefly touched on it there during your speech, actually, about apprenticeships, what were some of the most amazing skills that you picked up during your time in an apprenticeship, do you feel?
Oh my gosh, I could speak forever about what I learned. But I think the key skills I learned were diligence, and also diligence, taking responsibility, and being organized. I think that's what I'll pin it down to. Diligence in terms of getting things done, doing them at the right time, which is why I left the organization. I had to also learn how to facilitate the rest of the aspects in my life so it didn't impede on my work, which I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of young people don't really understand. You know, they'll go out on a bender for the weekend and still be expected to just, you know, somehow call in sick or whatever on the Monday, not realizing that actually affects how they're seen and they're viewed in the long run. So, you know, obviously you can't do that, and learn to take responsibility. And I learned this mainly because of two things. One, you know, obviously I was a teenager, so I'm still prone to the little mood swings and being upset when I don't get things my way and stuff like that. And I realized that you can't take that into the work. You can't take that into the workplace. Once you're in work, you're qualified, you're over 18, you're a fully grown adult, you do your part. Do you get what I mean? You're not a child anymore. I'm not a babysitter as your line manager. I'm not there for that. I've seen your certifications, I've seen your birth certificate. I know that you're a grown person, do the job, kind of thing.
Yeah, there we go.
And obviously no workplace is that stern, don't get me wrong, but do you get what I mean? I really had to grow up. And I think there was one key thing I remember. We used to have Monday meetings in my workplace, and they always tell us to set 5 goals for the week. And so I'm not gonna lie, I'll be honest, I just set random goals. Sometimes they were ones I knew I could easily achieve, just so I can say I go 5 out of 5. And so when I realized, like I said, I actually had to be diligent with my work and stuff like that, I said, okay, cool, let me actually set practical goals. So I set them, and I was really nonchalant about it because I was like, it doesn't really matter. And the person that I was meant to achieve one of the goals with was also waiting on me to do that so she could achieve her goal. So in my head, I was like, oh, whatever, you know, you get another week to try again. And literally, I got the biggest backlash because she was like, you didn't make me achieve my goals. And I got, oh my days. And you know, in school you just get, a detention or you know, a negative point or something. You know, it's not that big a deal, but I literally got frolicked. Oh my, wow, yeah. And I said, you know what, I'm not doing that again. Either you do the work you're gonna do and keep with it, or don't promise anything at all. It was the biggest learning curve. And so I feel like it was a bit of a wake up call to be like, oh my gosh, number one, my work is substantial. Do you get what I mean? Because when you're in a school setting, it's unfortunate a lot of the good kids get overlooked because it's like, oh, we know you're going to do well anyway. Carry on with your books, and there's a lot of focus on the kids that are underachieving or, you know, misbehaving and stuff like that. So a lot of good kids feel like they just get overlooked and stuff. And so they don't push for that extra level of diligence and stuff, like I said. So I had to learn it the hard way. And I feel like as a result of that, I was really on it afterwards. I was like, oh my gosh, this matters. This is part of it. This works towards the greater vision of the company, etc. So I was super on it and kind of worked towards that. And just one more that I'll add, which is not really in my list of 3, but also how to effectively network. I feel like networking is an ability that we're not really taught in school. You just learn to say hello and bye to people in your year group, but you don't know how to actually make connections and lasting ones. So I was taught how to use my LinkedIn. I was taught how to actually maintain lasting relationships so that in the long run, you can actually rely on them for favors and different things like that. So I feel like that networking and the ability to effectively network was also taught as well, which I think is a key skill, especially when it comes to apprenticeships and stuff.
For sure. And you've literally covered everything there. I mean, what you learn, and being 18 and older now, being in that work environment kind of forces you, doesn't it? Kind of get you out of your comfort zone as well, and be that person that you need to be to get to that level there, don't you? So that honestly is amazing. But